aspects of foreign exchange reserve. First, second one, to study the impact of exchange rate on GDP growth. Third, to study the impact of exchange rate on interest rate. Fourth, to analyze the impact of exchange rate on terms of trade. Fifth, to find out the nature of relationship between exchange rate and balance of payment. Sixth, to analyze the impact of exchange rate on FDI. Hypothesis. There is a significant relationship between exchange rate and GDP growth. Second, there is significant relationship between exchange rate and interest rate. Third, there is no relationship between exchange rate and terms of trade. Fourth, there is no relationship between exchange rate FDI. Fifth one, there is no relationship between exchange rate and balance of payment. Now, methodology. This study is entirely based on secondary data, which has been collected from the various sources like RBI, World Bank, IMF, Federal Reserve Bank, Federal Reserve St. Louis, along with the several issues of economic survey, research work, and report. This research is focused on quarterly and annual data, which covers time framework from 2005 to 2023. The work has applied appropriate statistical and econometrical tools to analyze the data with the help of eView 12 software, selected econometrical tests, unit root test, co-integration analysis, VRDL model, VECM, causality test, along with diagnostic test. Significance, contribution to macroeconomic stability, policy implication, guidance for investors and businesses, filling research gap in existing literature. Now, the third chapter regarding the impact of exchange rate on GDP growth and interest rate. This chapter has been divided into two parts. First one discuss about the impact of exchange rate on GDP growth rate. Now, this graph shows the trend line of GDP growth rate since 2005 Q1 to 2022 Q2. Now, descriptive statistics shows that the descriptive statistics based on 17 observation, this shows the mean of exchange rate is 57.90 rupees during study period, and average growth rate is 6.77. Now, 1 second. थोड़ा सा एक म्यूजिक सुनिए कहाँ से चल रहा है, इसको रोकिए। यूट्यूब आवाज आ रही है वहाँ शांत रखो। Thank you. The correlation value shows that there is a negative relationship between exchange rate and GDP growth rate. Now, with the help of unit rate test, we found that both the exchange rate is stationary at first difference and GDP growth is stationary at level. So we have applied ARDL model to find the coefficient of short run. Through the short run analysis, we found that in short run, exchange rate impacted the GDP growth rate positively. And the impact is if 1% change in exchange rate, GDP increases by 0.0031 unit. In long run, 1% change in exchange rate, GDP changes by 0.005 unit. But this relationship is statistically not significant at 5% level. Now, ARDL error correction model shows that due to deviation in short run, the long run equilibrium is adjusted by subsequent period through 60.7% speed of adjustment. Now, hypothesis, null hypothesis. There is no significant relationship between exchange rate and GDP growth rate. Alternate, there is a significant relationship between exchange rate and GDP growth. As per the analysis of tables 3.6 and table 3.8, the p-values are greater than 5% significance level. So we failed to reject null hypothesis and rejected the alternative hypothesis. Now, second part of this chapter, impact of exchange rate on interest rate. This graph shows the pattern of interest rate since 2005 to 2022 second quarter. Now, descriptive statistics is based on 72 observations. During the study, the mean of the average rate is 58.61 rupees, while the interest rate is 6.51. The correlation is weak and negative between exchange rate and interest rate. Through the Johnson co-integration, we found that there is no long-run relationship between exchange rate and interest rate. So, to find the short-run coefficient, we use VAR model, through which we find that in short run, net impact is negative. It means 1% change in exchange rate, it reduces the interest rate by minus 0.002 unit. But this relationship is not statistically significant. Hypothesis: there is no significant relationship between exchange rate and interest rate. Alternate: there is a significant relationship between exchange rate and interest rate. As per the analysis of table 3.2, the calculated p-value are greater than 5% significance level. So we failed to reject null hypothesis and rejected the alternative hypothesis. Now, chapter 4 is regarding exchange rate and terms of trade. Now, this chapter is also divided into three parts. As per the component of terms of trade, first one is impact of exchange rate on gross terms of trade. These are the graphs for gross terms of trade since 2005 to 2023. Now, as per descriptive statistics, which is based on 18 observations, the mean value of exchange rate is 58.86, and the mean of gross terms of trade is 96.28 indices, and correlation is negative between exchange rate and terms of trade. Now, through the U-trade test, we found that both the variables are stationary at first difference. So, Johnson co-integration suggests there is no long-run correlation between gross terms of trade and interest rate. So, for short-run analysis, I have used again VAR model, and the net impact in short run is negative. It means 1% change in exchange rate, gross terms of trade decreases by 0.020 percent point in short run, and this result is not statistically significant at 5%. Next part, net terms of trade. This graph shows the graph of net terms of trade since 2005 to 2023. Now, descriptive statistics shows the mean of exchange rate 58.86 and net terms of trade is 120.01 indices. The correlation is negative between exchange rate and net terms of trade. Now, here net terms of trade and exchange rate is has a co-integration in long run. So, in this case, we have used the vector error correction model, through which we find the short-run analysis. The coefficient of short-run analysis indicates that 1% change in exchange rate, net terms of trade is changed by 0.022%. In long run, 1% change in exchange rate, net terms of trade is increases by 19%. Through the error correction model, the speed of adjustment is 79.54, which is quite good. Now, the trend of income terms of trade. The income, this diagram shows the trend of income terms of trade from 2005 to 2023. Now, descriptive statistics is based on 18 observation, where mean of income terms of trade is 146.95 indices, and the correlation is highly positive. Through the co-integration, Johnson co-integration, we find that there is no long-run correlation between income terms of trade and exchange rate. Again, to find the short-run analysis, we used VAR model, and in short run, the impact is positive. 1% change in depreciation in exchange rate raises the income terms of trade by 0.49% in short run, and this result is not statistically significant at 5%. Hypothesis third. Null hypothesis. There is no significant relationship between exchange rate and terms of trade. Alternate. There is a significant relationship between exchange rate and terms of trade. As per the analysis of table 4.9, 4.28, 4.41, the calculated p-values are greater than 5% significance level. So we failed to reject null hypothesis and rejected the alternate one. Now, fifth chapter is regarding terms of trade, exchange rate and balance of payment. Now, this chapter is again divided into three parts. Now, first one regarding exchange rate and trade balance. This diagram shows the trade line of trade balance since 2005 to 2023. Now, descriptive statistics shows the descriptive statistics is based on 76 observation, where mean is 59.88 rupees and trade balance is 36 billion 67 million billion US dollar, while the correlation is negative between exchange rate and trade balance. Now, here this stationary at difference order. So, in short run, 1% change in exchange rate, trade balance increases by 430.60 million dollar in short run. P value is 0.07, which is less than 5% significance level. So we can say that this is statistically significant. And long run analysis, in long run, 1% increase in exchange rate, trade balance increases by 1258.32 million US dollar. And the p values, calculated p value suggested this relationship is statistically significant. And other correction model suggested due to deviation in short run, the long run equilibrium is adjusted by 34.22%. Now, empirical analysis of current account balance and exchange rate. Descriptive statistics. This observation is based on 76 observation, where the current account balance being is 8516 million US dollar, and the correlation is positive and weak between exchange rate and current account balance. Now, throughout the ARDL model, the short-term coefficient shows there is a positive impact of exchange rate on trade balance. It means 1% change in increase in exchange rate, the trade balance is increases by 331.32 million US dollar in short run, and calculated p value is less than 5% level. So we can say the relationship is statistically significant. In long run, 1% increase in exchange rate holding other variable constant, the current account balance increases by 739.03 million 03 US dollar. And this relationship is also significant at 5% level. An error correction model suggests that the speed of adjustment is 43.47%. Now, exchange rate and capital account balance. Now, descriptive statistics. So the mean of capital account balance during study is 15.742 billion US dollar. The correlation is positive but weak. In short run, if the net impact is negative on capital account balance, it means 1% change in capital account, 1% change in interest rate, the capital account balance decreases by 668.11 US dollar. And the calculated p value suggested this relationship is statistically significant. In long run, the 1% change in exchange rate, the capital account balance decreases by 337.60 million US dollar, and this relationship is also significant. So, as per the analysis, the null hypothesis is there is no relationship between exchange rate and balance of payment. Alternate, there is a relationship between exchange rate and balance of payment. And as per the analysis of the table, the calculated p values are greater than 5% significance. So we reject the null hypothesis and fail to reject the alternate hypothesis. Last one, exchange rate and FDI. The average, this observation is based on 76 observation. This study is based on 76 observation, and mean of the FDI inflow during study is 13.60 billion US dollar, and correlation is positive and strong. Through the ARDL model, the short-term analysis shows the 1% change in exchange rate, FDI inflow increases by 0.2% in short run, and calculated p-value suggested that this relationship is significant. In long run, if a 1% change in exchange rate holding other variable constant, FDI increases by 1.26%, and the calculated p-value suggested this relationship is statistically significant. An error correction model suggested that the speed of adjustment is 33.74%, which is also statistically significant. Now, hypothesis: there is no relationship between exchange rate and FDI. Alternate: there is a relationship between exchange rate and FDI. As per the analysis of table, the calculated p-value is less than 5% significance level. So we reject the null hypothesis and fail to reject the alternate hypothesis. Now, conclusion. Finding: the exchange rate positively impacts GDP growth rate in short run as well as in long run, but the impact is not statistically significant at 5% level. Now, the exchange rate negatively impacts the interest rate in short run, but this result is not significant at 5% level. In long run, there is no relationship between both variables. The exchange rate negatively impacts the gross terms of trade in short run, but this result is not statistically significant at 5% level. In long run, no relationship exists between both the variables. The exchange rate positively impacts the net terms of trade in short run as well as in long run. However, this relationship is not significant at 5% level. Exchange rate positively impact income terms of trade in short run, but this result is not statistically significant at 5% level, and there is no long run relationship between the variable. The exchange is positively impacted the trade balance in short run as well as in long run. This relationship is not statistically significant at 5% level. The exchange rate positively impacted current account balance in short run as well as in long run, but this relationship is statistically significant at 5% significance level. The exchange rate negatively impacted the capital account balance in short run as well as in long run. This result is statistically significant at 5% level. Now, the exchange rate positively impacted the FDI inflow in short run as well as in long run, and this result is statistically significant at 5% level. It means in short run, 1% change in exchange rate holding other variable constant, FDI inflow increases by 0.42%. Similarly, in long run, 1% increase in exchange rate, FDI increases by 1.26%. Now, suggestions: exchange rate and GDP growth rate. In monetary policy, exchange rate management, inflation targeting, interest rate adjustment. In terms of fiscal policy, investment in export sector, support for import and heavy industry, and structural reform. Exchange rate and interest rate. In terms of monetary policy, exchange rate management to control short-term interest rate volatility, and second one, foreign exchange reserve buffer. In terms of fiscal policy, minimizing external vulnerability and promote domestic investment. Exchange rate and terms of trade, monetary policy, managing exchange rate volatility and inflation targeting for price stability. Now, in case of fiscal policy, promoting export competitiveness and reduce import dependency. Now, exchange rate and trade balance. In case of monetary policy, the RBI should depreciate exchange rate in a way that it boosts the export of Indian economy, and it should also maintain the flexibility, volatility of exchange rate. To robust reserve allow the RBI to mitigate temporary shock and maintain market confidence during the period of heightened volatility. In terms of fiscal policy, the government should promote export and substitute import, particularly in sectors where India has comparative advantage, such as electronics, energy, pharmaceutical products, and reducing the trade deficit further. Exchange rate and current account balance. Monetary policy term, RBI should combine managed float exchange system, allowing the depreciation when necessary to address the high current account deficit. In terms of fiscal policy must play a supportive role in promoting export and encouraging import substitution. Export growth can be driven by providing fiscal incentives to industry with high export potential, such as technology, services, and manufacturing. Exchange rate and capital account balance. Monetary policy की term, the RBI should focus on stabilizing exchange rate while encouraging capital inflow through a policy that fosters favorable investment. In terms of fiscal policy should aim to create investment-friendly environment by enhancing infrastructure, reducing bureaucratic hurdle, and foster transparent financial market. Strengthening India's capital market will not only attract foreign capital but also provide domestic investor with more robust opportunity, contributing to long-term capital account improvement. Now, FDI and exchange rate. In terms of monetary policy, support exchange rate stability. In terms of fiscal policy, to enhance investment climate, and long-term to develop long-term FDI strategy. Limitation of the study. Some data of GDP growth rate, current account balance, capital account balance has missed due to use of double log functional form. So the missed data have been generated by interpolation. Second, the study focused only on India's exchange rate and its impact on domestic macroeconomic variables without accounting the global economic factors and geopolitical event. The finding may not be utilized to further period for future, especially in case India undergoes the economic or structural change post 2023. Scope for future research. The present study has studied the present study is based on 5 macroeconomic variables. So there can be other variables also on which impact of exchange rate can be seen. Someone can also see the impact on inflation, unemployment, fiscal deficit, and other variables which with different time framework. Furthermore, the study faces exchange rate as independent variable and set of macroeconomic variables as a dependent. The researcher can also reverse the dependent and independent variable for further study. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So you have actually the non-macroeconomic you are studying very vast study.
आवाज
Am I audible?
No, sir.
आपकी आवाज ठीक से नहीं आ रही है.
Voice yeah.
सर
आवाज आ रही है?
जी सर.
क्लियर है.
Sir.
Very nice topic related for your work.
कुमार जी
Very extensive work.
सर लगता है सर वहाँ इंटरनेट का प्रॉब्लम है, आवाज कट रहा है.
जी
कट रहा है आवाज कट रहा है.
हाँ सर, कभी कभी एकदम ठीक आ रहा है, फिर बीच में कट जा रहा है. हेलो लो इंटरनेट
अभी हेलो
नहीं सर.
यहाँ वहाँ से सर इंटरनेट में लगता है कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है. आवाज कभी कभी 1 सेकंड के लिए ठीक हो जा रहा है सर, लेकिन ऐसे थोड़ा कुछ पता ही नहीं चल रहा.
तो
ये आवाज सुनिए, फिर म्यूजिक स्टार्ट हो गया.
उधर से सर कुछ नेटवर्क का प्रॉब्लम है सर.
हेलो
हाँ
तो
सर,
हेलो
आवाज आ रही है लेकिन कोई क्लियरिटी नहीं है सर, पता नहीं चल रहा है क्या बोल रहे हैं।
आज नहीं, तो
आपको तो पता चल रहा
ये तो मतलब टेक्निकल इशू हो क्या?
है, आवाज वाइब्रेट कर रहा है सर पूरा।
या सर से कॉल पे डायरेक्ट बात करके सवाल
ब्रेक
फोन से बात कर लें सर, फोन से कनेक्ट कर लें सर,
है
फोन से कनेक्ट कर लें सर,
किससे?
आवाज आप फोन से सर,
डायरेक्ट कॉल
कॉल से।
फोन से ही कर रहा हूँ, फोन से ही मैं बात कर रहा हूँ।
वहाँ
आ रहा है
इंटरनेट
आवाज?
अब आवाज थोड़ी आ रही है।
जी सर। हेलो।
सर हेलो,
जी सर।
हाँ, आवाज आपको आ रही है?
जी सर,
नहीं।
अब आ रही है।
Okay, so Mukund, you have taken a very good topic and it's a nice presentation. So first I congratulate you, है ना?
थैंक यू
You
सर।
have taken very good study, है ना? And how you have taken a short run and long run exchange? Can you explain me?
जी सर। सर पार्डन सर, एक बार क्वेश्चन सर फिर से रिपीट कीजिएगा।
How long run and
लॉन्ग रन
short
और
run
शॉर्ट
exchange rate
रन,
is determined?
यस सर। सर सर यू नीड टू रीच
ये
टेस्ट केस टू
कैसे
डिसाइड।
determined होती है long run short run exchange rate?
सर
ये कैसे
इकोनोमेट्रिकल,
लिया आपने?
सर इकोनोमेट्रिकल टूल्स के थ्रू
No,
सर
no, no,
यूज।
no, no. No, the fee
डिफाइन
on
सॉरी
exchange rate.
सर, सर यहाँ
है?
पे लॉन्ग लॉन्ग रन सर अप्रोक्सीमेटली 2 to 3 years के पीरियड को लॉन्ग रन से कंसिडर किए और क्वार्टरली डेटा को सर शॉर्ट रन कंसिडर किए।
अच्छा।
जी।
हाँ हाँ, ओके ओके, इस प्रकार से लिए, है ना?
जी।
तो एक्चुअली जो एक्सचेंज रेट आपने डॉलर टर्म में लिया
यस सर, इन टर्म्स ऑफ
है
यूएस
ना?
डॉलर। जी।
ओके ओके, तो काफी ट्रेड तो जो है जो अब आजकल तो रुपीस टर्म में होने लग गया है,
यस सर।
डॉलर टर्म में नहीं होता है ना?
यस सर, ये
तो
करेंसी स्वैपिंग।
वो तो आपके उससे बाहर होगा, वो आपकी स्टडी से बाहर होगा, ये भी आपका एक ये है, लिमिटेशन
यस सर,
है
ये
ना?
पॉइंट, यस सर, ये पॉइंट इंक्लूड करो।
हम्म, इस पॉइंट पर रखिएगा। तो
जी
ये आपने जितना जो है इंडिपेंडेंट जो वेरिएबल जो आपने लिया है ना?
जी सर।
वो तो वो जो है आपका एक्सचेंज रेट है ना?
जी सर, एक्सचेंज रेट इंडिपेंडेंट
और
वेरिएबल
ये
है।
सारा डिपेंडेंट है, जीडीपी और आपका टर्म्स ऑफ ट्रेड, है ना?
इंटरेस्ट रेट। यस
और
सर।
एफडीआई, है ना?
जी सर।
तो ओवरऑल जो आपने ये कितना कितना लिया है वेरिएबल आपने?
सर टोटल 6 वेरिएबल
व्हाट इज
है। सर 6 वेरिएबल है।
है?
जी सर।
हाँ,
सर आप
और
सर।
इसमें मेन जो जो आपने जो जीडीपी में जो इम्पैक्ट देखा है इसका,
जी सर।
एक्सचेंज रेट का,
जी
है ना? तो जीडीपी पे क्या क्या आपके हाइपोथेसिस एक्सेप्ट हो रही है, रिजेक्ट हो रही है?
सर, जो हाइपोथेसिस एज्यूम किए थे, नो सिग्निफिकेंट रिलेशनशिप, तो सर उस केस में हाइपोथेसिस सर रिजेक्ट हुई, एक्सेप्ट
नल
सर
नल
हुई।
एनालिसिस क्या हो रही है, रिजेक्ट हो रही है?
यस सर, नल
नल
हाइपोथेसिस यहाँ
एनालिसिस
पे नल सर एक्सेप्ट हो रही है एट 5% लेवल
जीडीपी
से।
पे कोई इफेक्ट नहीं है,
यस सर,
परसेंट
5%
पे कोई
सिग्निफिकेंट लेवल पे
और
सिग्निफिकेंट।
ओके, और टर्म ऑफ ट्रेड, टर्म ऑफ
सर टर्म्स ऑफ ट्रेड में जितने भी हैं कंपोनेंट, उनके सब में इनसिग्निफिकेंट रिलेशन है सर। 5%, 5%।
ओके,
सर ग्रॉस
एंड
टर्म्स ऑफ ट्रेड।
जो है बैलेंस ऑफ ट्रेड, बैलेंस ऑफ ट्रेड
सर बैलेंस ऑफ ट्रेड पे सिग्निफिकेंट रिलेशन है और
है,
सर सिग्निफिकेंट रिलेशन है और रिलेशन सर पॉजिटिव है। सर इम्पैक्ट
सिग्निफिकेंट
इम्पैक्ट
रिलेशन है,
सर।
पॉजिटिव है
यस सर, इम्पैक्ट
बैलेंस
पॉजिटिव
ऑफ ट्रेड
है।
पे।
यस।
अच्छा,
और 5% पर सर सिग्निफिकेंट भी है।
ओके, तो और इस पे एफडीआई पे पॉजिटिव है?
यस सर, एफडीआई पे भी रिलेशन इम्पैक्ट पॉजिटिव है और सिग्निफिकेंट भी है,
हाँ।
5%।
So I think you have means taken so many variables, है ना, in your study, and it's a nice study. So uh, my observation is only that what I have suggested, because now it all the Hindi is very technical. In economics, you can in your study. And now it uh, means, the trade is also BRICS country and all are focusing. Like in Russia, no? We take Russian oil and everything. We take in rupees terms, no? In also in some Mediterranean also. So, so this you have also considered in your study, your also. Okay.
यस सर, इसको सर इंक्लूड कर
Hello.
लो। जी सर।
Ah, ah. So I think I will calculate to your guide also. It's a good work, and you have used so many econometric tools in the modify your study. So I will consolate you. I think it's okay. But Dr. Saab, I want to say something to your supervisor, that Dr. Saab, because I am right now I am outside the from Raipur in Delhi. So I will send you a report after 2 days. Not possible for me to send a report immediately. Okay.
ओके।
जी
Okay.
सर।
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Can you
So
hear me,
can we
sir?
continue with the second scholar?
Yes,
Second
sure,
scholar,
sure, sir. Can you,
Deepali.
sir,
Hmm.
this is Professor
Please,
Raj Laxmi.
please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. Good afternoon. Good
Namaskar,
afternoon.
sir. Thank you very much,
Ah,
sir, for conducting this Viva so nicely.
okay.
Despite of all the technical difficulties, thank you very much. Yes, we can immediately start
Okay, okay.
the next
Okay.
Viva. If you
And
so permit.
I permit
15 minutes।
Deepali to present her thesis. Present her thesis.
Okay. So you want her to present right now or take a 15-minute recess?
लिंक बदलना होगा, लिंक
Okay.
बदलना।
Oh, we will have to change the link, sir. So it will take a few minutes time.
2 or 5 minutes।
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
उसको आप डिस्कनेक्ट कर दीजिए, फिर नया लिंक में दे दीजिए। वही वो लिंक तो अभी नहीं काम करेगा ना, वो जो अभी भेजे हैं वो लिंक काम करेगा।
ये in your study exchange rate is dependent variable